Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Twilight. The Idea Lab. And tonight we are. I can't remember the title of the program, so tonight we are uncut, unfiltered. We are live, and I don't quite know what's going to come out of our mouths. I'm Sylvia Henderson, the Clarity Queen of Implementation, and founder of the Idea Success Network. And I've got all kinds of guests today, and cohort who's going to help me here with the Idea Lab. This is Susan. Susan, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Susan Combe. My company is The Handmade Life. I do career testing and coaching to help people identify their natural personality style and their gifts and talents, the things they naturally do best.
And I'll tell you why Susan's going to be sort of co-hosting with me tonight, whenever it is for you, on the Idea Lab. And we have Carl Powell, who, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Carl Powell, and I'm the owner of the Magnificent Body. And that's a yoga and Pilates studio in the city of Laurel, Maryland. And I've been in the fitness business for about 35 years. I've traveled the world teaching fitness to other instructors. So I've trained instructors, and now I've moved my business into Laurel, and I'm learning. So I'm here to let you figure out my personality and let you make a lot of notes and tell me everything I'm doing wrong, because I'm ready. Just go ahead, let me have it.
Well, tonight we're unscripted because we're going to go through a process that I take my clients through to help them get clarity about something that's got them stuck, to help them get something done, to help them get their thoughts, their ideas, their dreams, their goals, whatever way you want to put it, out of their heads and into action. And you won't see them be put into action tonight in this short time. But I'm going to tell you about the process first, and then you're going to see it live and in action as I help two brave volunteers get something out of their heads and into action, out of their heads anyway, and get some clarity on what they're stuck with, what their issues are, what they're working on, to give you a sense of the process itself, so that you can apply it to your own stuff, whether it's an idea, an issue, a problem that you need to solve, and kind of to show you just 3 reasons. That to show you kind of what I do to help people, but also to show you how working with somebody, collaborating with somebody who complements you, can it's sort of like a 1 + 1 = 11 kind of a result, because so much more can come out of that kind of a relationship, that kind of a collaboration. And I'll explain more about that as we move into working with our brave volunteer who's come with an issue. And
just one.
Well, yeah, okay. One. We can't solve the world tonight, or figure out the meaning of life. But we'll see what we can do for some small step forward for you. Okay. I have no idea what's going to come out of his mouth. He has no idea what's going to come out of Susan and my mouths. And so that's pretty much what a good healthy coaching session ends up being when people work with either one of us. To first, let me give you a little bit of a lesson for many of you who have either read my book or have been in one of my programs or has seen anything I've written, has heard that I use the term impact. I use the mnemonic impact to define a process that when you apply that process to just about anything you're thinking about, you can get clarity about your thoughts, you can figure out a strategy for implementing what you're working on, and you can actually get it into action, communicate your idea messaging, and carry it through to completion. So I'm going to explain the impact process just really high level and tell you that you're going to really see tonight really the first couple of steps of that process. So here's the lecture part of what I'm going to bring to you tonight in the Idea Lab. So the impact process, and the reason why I'm using, the reason why I've chosen the mnemonic as I figure out what camera to look at, chosen the mnemonic impact is, I should ask you, why do you want to get your ideas implemented? Why do you want to get your dreams turned to reality? Why do you want to get things done? Typically, it's to have an impact on your bottom line, it's to have an impact on your family situation, it's to have an impact on your community, or for some, an impact on the world. So the mnemonic impact seemed like a natural thing to use to go through a process to get your idea implemented. And so impact, each letter stands for something. That's what a mnemonic is. So say you have an idea, a thought, a dream, a goal, whatever that may be. I call them all ideas. The first thing you want to do, and the first thing that gets us stuck with moving forward on our idea, is that we have it up here. I mean, we think about what we're trying to get done constantly. We've got details that we churn over, or we have one idea or one thought that we just get stuck on and we don't want to get out of that thought or don't want to change. Whatever it may be, there's stuff up here that keeps us stuck, and the first step is to get it out of your head so that you can free up those molecules in your brain to come up with more ideas and to work out more of the detail. So the initiate your idea, the I stage of the impact process is really to initiate, get that detail out of your head and down on something. I don't care what you use, just get it out. And that things get clearer once you get it out. You stop being stuck. So that's the I stage. The M, mold your message. That means once you've gotten it out, now it's time to organize the details that you've been writing out or you've been speaking out, or if you're going to record your thoughts on an audio tape. Well, that dated me. On some kind of audio. Yeah, I know.
You didn't say 8-track, so you're all right.
So the M is mold your message, mold that detail, and put some structure to it, some organization to it, and you'll see that take place a little bit tonight. The P, plot your strategy. Once you've gotten, I should be pointing to this too. Okay, the I is get your details out, whether it's through a journal, whether it's audio, whether it's video. If you record, selfies saying something to yourself, just get details out. Then you want to, my favorite tool is Post-its, you'll see that tonight. Then mold, organize those details into some kind of structure, some kind of pattern that you can work with, and you suddenly see something that you go, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. And you might see that happen tonight too. Then plot your strategy, and just like the little football chart here, plot your strategy, figure out how you're going to implement or ways you might implement the structure that you see, the clarity that you get with your idea. The A is, where am I here? The A is, plotting the strategy is also working on planning your schedule, planning how you're going to implement the idea that you've now shaped as you've molded and organized your thoughts. So, and how you're going to spend your time, how you're going to spend your money, how you're going to accomplish what you're planning to accomplish across a timeline, if that's what you've worked out linearly, how you schedule your strategy, how you schedule your actions that you're going to implement. All of that is under the P, the plot your strategy and plan your implementation. Then it's time to take action, time to get those gears to start turning, and to get yourself into action to actually get something done. And so the ACT is the action part, and a lot of getting your plans into action involve communicating your idea message to whoever you need to help you get your plans to turn into reality. Part of the planning is identifying who do you need to help you get your idea implemented. You might need financing. You might need referrals to somebody else. You might need legal help, business planning. It doesn't matter if it's a business you're working on. You might need to talk to someone to work through a personal problem or a personal issue in order to move forward with your idea. You identify who you need to help you implement your ideas, implement your plans, and then you need to talk to them, get their attention, communicate your idea message, and then make the ask. Tell them the T. Tell them what you need help with. And you do that over and over and over again. Over time, you get your idea implemented. Now, that's a real simplified version of the impact process, but that at least explains a system, and that's really the key, having some kind of a system, having some kind of something that you can implement, you can apply to anything you're working on, and use it over and over and over again, and get it to work for you. Okay, I'm out of breath. That's the impact process. I just realized I did not pause and take a breath. So tonight, what we're going to do in the Idea Lab is to actually help a couple of folks sort through something that they're thinking about, and to go through my favorite Post-its process that anybody who's worked with me already knows, and probably roll their eyes, oh no, here come those Post-its again. Why I have Susan helping me or working with me tonight in the program is we went through, well, Susan specializes in, you can explain this better, Susan specializes in us figuring out who we are, our personalities, how we operate, how we think, and we went through a Myers-Briggs program that I went through a program that Susan put on a couple of years ago, and found out some interesting things. Actually, some interesting things happened during that session. I am an ESTJ, for anybody who knows what Myers-Briggs the letters are, and I guess I'm almost a pure ESTJ because as we were going through this activity, the people who were my opposites, or I like to say my compliments, the people who were my opposites were so clearly I'm looking at the wrong cameras. The people who were so clearly my opposite, it was almost funny. So it was almost funny because it was so clear that we just thought differently, we approached the problems differently, and so Susan is my complement, and that means that we're going to hear issues differently, we're going to ask different questions, we're going to focus on different aspects of what someone is thinking about and what someone is saying, and I want you to see that happen too. We'll probably offer different ideas because Susan thinks in colors and I think in structure. So that's going to be fun too. Talk a little bit more about why this is a really cool way to work.
Yeah, there's well, it's one of the things that I love about personality type is that it gives you a common language to think about your differences in. It's another aspect of diversity that people tend not to think about, which is that your brain just works differently than mine. You know, Sylvia and I can walk into the same room and see different things. And listen to the same thing that somebody has to say and focus in on different things. You know, she's naturally going to be more detail oriented and structured, and I'm going to be more like, so how did you feel about that? So, you know, sometimes that can be the thing that causes a lot of stress in work situations, but if you can go into it consciously and thoughtfully, it's this tremendous advantage because somebody's going to see stuff you don't see. So, you know, it's like you have your own cultural liaison to a whole nother way of thinking. So
what was that activity? We talked about it the other day. You set up a situation.
Yeah.
Do you remember
It was sensing and intuition. That was the dynamic. So sensors tend to be very focused on detail and what's going on in the here and now. They see themselves as being more practical and realistic. And so we had 2 chairs facing each other and a pad and a pencil on one chair. And so Sylvia came in and was the classic sensing, like, well, there's 2 chairs, they're about let's see, 1 foot and 3 inches apart from each other, and there's a yellow pad. It looks like it's got slight green lines on it, every detail you could think of. So then someone who's at the extreme opposite end came in and said, oh, it looks to me like maybe a therapist's office. And I'm thinking that this person's going to be very upset, that this person's going to be taking notes and whatnot. And it was like, she was like, what?
Where did you see that? Yes, I know. I was like,
because for intuitives, they're always thinking about what does all this mean? What are the possibilities for the future? What does this generate? They're not necessarily all that interested in what's going on in the here and now often. So obviously, if you're going to run a successful business, you need to have some grounding in reality. You still got to pay the bills at the end of the month and whatnot. But you also really want to develop that vision and that what's the big picture side. And if you can have a foot in both worlds, that's the ideal scenario. So we're each 1 foot here tonight.
And I'm a business schizophrenic. So I have I'm always different. Like my personality and the way that I handle my business are opposite often.
Interesting.
And I find that is sometimes the conflict. Sometimes the conflict is my personality or my person wants to have business this way. But the logical side of me, who has been in business for 35 years for myself, says, okay, well, 35 years of being in business for yourself has taught you that you can't take this emotionally. And so the schizophrenic part of me is like, but what do you mean? Because I want everyone to love me, and I want to be perfect for everyone, and I want to do everything right and good. And then there's the logical side of me that says, okay, calm that down, because every time you try to do that, you didn't pay the bills. And then so it's that juggling act for me. And for me, I know, because I was holding this all back until the camera came out. I know exactly what I want to ask, but I don't even know how to ask it, because both sides of my personality have different ways of looking at it.
Okay.
In my goal for my big picture, and then I'm going to let you all talk a whole lot about it. My goal in my big picture is to change people's attitude about exercise, and then change their actions towards changing their attitudes, because attitudes change actions. So if I can change my attitude, I can set up a better, my actions. Okay, what all that means is I'm writing a book. The book is called 21 Steps to Magnificent Living.
oh, he's gone fast. He's gone fast.
Okay,
Okay, that's okay. No, you're fine.
Notes. And
21 steps.
to magnificent living.
Okay.
That's great.
The book is how I learned to navigate the world. The very first step in it, I'm only going to give you one because I'm not here to do a commercial, is just being realistic. And sometimes for me, that's a hard one, because I have schizophrenia in that section where part of me wants to be extremely realistic in numbers and science and the whole bit, and the other part of me wants the heartfelt, airy-fairy, and I want everyone to love me and hug me and hold me in that situation. So my block is, how do I implement my plan to take this book and take the information out to the world in a way that is both logical and airy-fairy enough to make everyone feel good.
Oh, this is fun.
I'll handle the logic. You handle the air.
If I talk too much, just whack me over the head with something.
I knew you were going to help me with the airy-fairy part. The second I saw that purple sweater, I said, okay, here, I'm saved. Sylvia's not going to get me after all.
Such a mystery. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I didn't write it all. Actually, the point is not to write like a tome on Post-it notes, but this is your mission. What I heard is about changing attitudes about exercise, because if our attitudes change, then our actions will change.
Correct.
Somebody I know said, actually I was thinking about someone who had told me when she signed up for her gym membership, she was just like a drudgery. Oh my gosh, I don't want to go to the gym, and that attitude was there. She said when she changed her attitude to, I'm going to go to get my sexy on today. That was the attitude. I'm going to get my sexy on, now I'm going to go exercise. She said, then she started going, yeah, I'm going to go get my sexy on today. And her whole attitude changed about going to work out. So that was just, when you said that, I was thinking about that. Okay, so you've got a brick and mortar business. And which means for those who haven't heard that term, although
Break it down.
that would be surprising.
Break it down.
That's okay. That means it's actual physical. Where am I looking? Okay, that's an actual physical location in a building. So there's some like commitment in there. There's rent and
Right,
and
exactly.
there's space and all that entails. Do you? And you were talking and I was writing. What you wanted to work on tonight was basically how to get your book.
How to take my book out of that brick and mortar and
Right.
take it out into the world.
Okay, and it's a physical book.
It's a physical book.
All right.
But what I also heard you say is that you really want to hold both of those things. That both the relationships piece is important to you as well as the being practical thing.
I don't know if it's possible. That's my question. Is that a
I think
possibility?
it's essential, actually.
Okay,
So I would say,
alright.
can I jump in?
That's what. Yeah.
Okay, so I think often we say, oh, I want something to be values oriented and I want to make the world a better place, but I have to be practical. Wow, that sounds so motivating, doesn't it? Here's all the things I really care about, but I have to be practical. It's like, here's the big chocolate cake. No, I can't have any.
Right.
You know, oh, maybe that was the wrong metaphor to use for that fitness person. Okay, take two. But I would say that it's never practical to try to be somebody that you're not. You need to be grounded in really the biggest part of who you are, and then you are flexible on learning those other things. So yeah, you can't just ignore the details because you're a big picture person, because that doesn't end well. But you want to be spending most of your time doing the things that come naturally to you. After talking to you for 2 minutes, I can tell you that no one is coming to work with you because you're a practical business person. They're coming because you exude kindness and care and wanting to take care of them. And I'm already thinking, I should go to one of his classes.
Well, see, and which is good, but then the business person inside of me has to be able to say, well, here's my business card and this is what I can offer
Yes.
you. But sometimes I'm so busy, and that's what the book is about. The book is about learning how to balance that. You know, finding the balance, learning how to be giving yet forgiving at the same time, because you can't give yourself away.
Yes, that's
And
absolutely true.
oftentimes in my world, because I want to be giving, I find that I give more than I want to give or more than I have to give, and then it's grudgeful giving. And I don't want to spend my business day doing grudgeful giving, even though, because sometimes you do something, even though you do it from your heart, at the end of the day, you go home and you still have the grudge. Like, I did this and nobody really appreciated it, and then I don't know why I did that. And, you know, at the end of the day, my pocket is empty, and who really won in that situation? And
Yeah,
I gave more than I should have, or more than I had to give.
that's right.
So
That's right.
So let me back you up. Is the book written?
the book is written, and it's actually being finished. It should be finished in 2 weeks.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Huh?
Who's finishing it?
A nice girl I met named Mia.
Ah, a nice woman you met named Mia Zachary. Okay. Okay. That's being
Thank you,
finished
sir.
with-
Thank you, sir, for reminding me of that.
within the walls of this environment. Who's your target? What market are you writing
So
it for?
funny, she asked me that the other day, and I didn't have, she asked me, and I was like, I want to help people. And she said, okay, that's very, very, very broad. Who are the people you want to help? And I said, well, the people who need help, of course.
Why is Rob Banks? Because that's where the money is.
And she said, who are the people who you are already affecting? And she said, you have to go to the group of people that you're already affecting first. To me, that just kind of seems like a non-point, because the people I'm already affecting are already being affected.
Yeah, but they're being affected by you physically in your class, right? So your book sounds like it can influence, it can impact them even further, so that you're basically, they're taking you home with them.
Right.
So you've got a deeper impact.
For me, the important thing is that I know that there's a secret to having a more magnificent life, and I want to get that secret out there. My, again, roadblock is, how do I take that secret and whisper it so that the world can hear it, and that I can do it and feel good about it. And the book is only a part of it, I guess, part of the equation, because teaching people how to exercise, people and live a better life has always been my thing to do. Reason being, when I graduated from high school, I weighed 250 pounds. My waist was 42 inches, and I felt terrible about myself. I didn't like myself. I didn't like life. I wouldn't say I contemplated suicide, but you had this, oh, no one likes me, I don't really like life. And I didn't have a dream plan. I had no idea that I could be better.
Okay.
And when somebody took me by the hand and taught me you can be better, I knew that I was part of the message. That wasn't a coincidence, and I needed to become part of the message. In the last 35 years, I've done this. I just stuck my hand out and let people guide me to wherever they thought was best for me to do it. I shouldn't say that. I said in the last 10, I made the decision to do it for myself. But making myself a brand and understanding how to keep the Carl part of the brand with still keeping the Sylvia part of the brand, which is, Carl, how much money did you make? And I'm like, well, I paid my rent. Was that good? There has to be a balance in that in order for me to move into taking that to another level, being able to take it out to the world. And if I'm going to take it out into the world, I better have a plan.
Okay. And to explain too a little bit, the Post-it notes I'm sticking up, just as I hear things, I write them down and throw them up. There's no, this is the I part. This is the just grab the thoughts that are coming out of his mouth, which means out of his head right now. And either you would be doing this yourself in a journal or on a notepad or on an audio device. I'm doing it here. I don't know if I'm going to use any of it, how much I am going to use. You can take this with you when we're done. I don't know if any of it you'll use, but this is just sort of the getting it out of the head right now, and we'll figure out whether there's any organization to it. So just to explain that to people who are like, so what's she writing? Where is it going? And I don't know yet.
Right now it's scary.
I don't know yet.
Right now it's scaring me because if my thoughts are that scattered, I might have problems.
What I hear, well, no, what I'm hearing, I don't know what I'm doing with it yet. So, so you never did answer who you're writing this for, other than the people who are they women, men, certain income level,
I think it's
certain
physical. I think it's people who are ready to make a change in their life.
Okay.
Because not everyone is ready to make a change.
Right.
And so you can't really impact people who aren't. I mean,
Right.
you can, but that's a bigger job. But I know there are enough people out there who are ready to change, but they just don't. They don't have that guiding hand. And so I want to be that guiding hand, and I want to reach those people.
Okay. Change in what way? Change their fit.
She just like mind ballooned me. Like I saw a little balloon go.
Okay, what are you thinking? Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this is funny. I'm asking the practical question. So I get that. I get that people who are ready to make a change because I'm a coach. And so the fun clients to work with are the ones who actually want to do the work.
Right.
I get that. But seriously, demographically, are there some people who you feel the most connected with? Are there some people who you're like, these are just the people I most want to spend my time with?
I would say definitely people over 40, and people who are ready to look at life as I want to be well, opposed to being sexy or hot. I'm no longer, I shouldn't say that because I still want you to come to the studio even if you want to get into a bathing suit. But I'm not as interested in the girl who wants to get into the bathing suit for the summer. I'm more interested in the person that says, I've been to my doctor and they told me that, my blood pressure is really, really high and my stress level is really high, and can you help me?
Okay.
And for me, that for me in life is what I believe is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Okay. Okay. So that's okay. So that's your demographic that you're aiming. So they're ready to change. They're probably over 40. They want to be healthy, well, and well, I gather, is a completeness.
Right. Mind, body, spirit, kind of.
Right. And do you address that? Mind, body, spirit?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
And I address it also in the book. And in,
Well, that's what I meant, yeah.
And in my classes. So that's just part of what magnificent living is.
And is stress particularly a thing that you're trying to help them get rid of? Like you're talking about lavender, and I was immediately thinking like you're creating that environment where people can, exhale.
People have to have a place to exhale, and they have to find a place where they're comfortable. And I love being, what I like about my business is when the class is over, people don't want to leave. I see them, they put their shoes on really slow, and then they go over and get another glass of water. And they walk over to the lady sitting next to them, and they start giving recipes. I want to create that comfortable seat, but that's what I want to do universally, opposed to just doing it in my room.
Right. So they can make a home for themselves.
Right, exactly, and teach them how to do that. How do I take what I teach, all that is in there, carry it with me, and deliver that?
Do you want someone to, here I'm asking something you might be asking, this is scary.
I'm changing you all around.
Do you want, no. Do you want someone to take the book and, because this is kind of thinking about how you get it out, since it's already written. Do you want someone to take the book and open it and read it front to back, and go, oh, this is a great book, and read over the course of a night or two, or, and I'm exaggerating a little bit, or do you want someone to take the book and take a chapter or a passage and think about it and go, oh, I need to do this, and go do it and then come back? Do you want them to nourish and nurse the book, or do you want them to consume it completely?
I want it to be
Quickly.
I want it to be nourishment, because the goal is that it takes 7 days to change or affect a habit. So in the first 21 days that you're doing the program, you do a 21-day simply reading one step a day, so that it gives you the opportunity to absorb just the habit of learning the habit. That's your first 21 days. The second 21 days, you do 3 steps a day. So now that's 3 weeks of doing 3 steps a day. Now you've made that a conscious thing in your day to notice, am I being kind? Am I being considerate? Am I being loving? Am I giving out love where I don't want to? And those are the suggestions I give to you. When the day that you're being loving, notice that the times when you can be loving, the times that you are loving, and the times that you are not loving when you could have been. Because there are lots of times when we're in a store. No, I said I wasn't doing an infomercial. We're in a store, and we could do something that's just a little bit kinder. And I know that in this world, I see it on a regular basis. So I know that I see people with a lot of weight on them who are in the grocery store and they have a lot of stress. And I really do. I want to touch them and say, I know a better way. But, and so I know that the book, because I don't have to get them to exercise, because sometimes it's easier to change people's minds before you change their bodies. So the book will help them change their mind. I guess my biggest question is what do I need to do do I need to look at doing a television show like
how do you get it out?
How do I get it out there?
How do you get it out? Right.
Do you think that's a better avenue, or do you think like professional speaking? But the problem with doing professional speaking, because I've done it, I love doing it, but then it takes me away from how do I be 2 or 3?
Slow down. That's okay.
So
the people who you already address and affect, and who come to your studio, and who you say that those are the same kind of people that you want to reach. What do they do? How do they experience the world? Where do they hang out? You know, are they readers? Are they listeners? Are they Kindle people? And this is, I know you don't know each individual, but do you have a sense of so where do they hang out so that you would know where to reach them?
Question mark.
Ooh,
You know, we're-
ooh, something to check on.
Yeah, right. The problem, maybe it's not a problem. The question, it's part of that whole question of how these people came to me.
Right. Okay.
I can't wait for the world to come to me.
Right.
I got to find a way to go out and find them, or have them find me different than physically, and that's why a book, because I can't physically be everywhere.
Okay, maybe I asked that slightly wrong, and I don't know if you've got a better way to ask that. In terms of where do they hang out, I didn't mean, it may not be physically. It's sort of what are their habits to get the word out about your book. Are they social media junkies? Do they, do they go for coffee after they leave you, or what? Something healthier. Just sort of. Do you know anything about the habits or the general? Well, you said they hang around and they hang around and talk afterwards.
But there are people who do want to have connections with other people.
Okay.
They're not, my members are not, what I love about my business is if I'm in my office and you came in and you were new, I'm in my office, and what delights me is one of the members would walk up to you and say, "Hi, my name is so-and-so. Are you new?" Because that's what I do, And so I've taught them, when you're in my house, to act, to be respectful, to be kind, to be warm. And I would like to let them, these people who I haven't affected yet, teach them how to build their own house where they can have people come in and feel warm and happy. But my biggest block is, how do I get to them? And yeah.
Do you have somebody else who works in your business with you?
And see that.
That's one. I mean, the one thing I'll just say, what comes up for me immediately is it feels like you are your product in a lot of ways, right? What you're selling is your ability to create connections and relationship and make people feel comfortable. So if you're thinking about like, how do I promote this, then it feels to me like you are your best possible advertisement, which means that you do need to be in front of people to some extent, But then you're right. You can only, impressive though you may be, you can only be in one place at a time.
So should it be like, should I be training more people? Or should I build an army?
Don't jump. What I'm hearing you ask is almost way over here, and we need to start back here a little bit.
Well, I was trying to run away from over here. I'm confused over here. But okay, all right.
So, and I should probably tell folks on the live stream too, we've got a studio audience, and I can't see anything because of all the lights, but if somebody in the audience wants to ask a question, feel free, or has a thought, feel free.
Do we have a thought for poor Carl?
As we're talking. And do you? Okay, I can see things happening in the background. Looking for a microphone in case somebody has a question to ask. But anyhow, back to you up to, because if the book is just coming out, you need to first sort of get it out close in before you worry about the army.
Right.
Keep, if you're thinking, keep going.
No, I'm good.
Because of what Susan said, though, about you're the message, and people are buying and attracted to you when they come to you. They're buying you, and what you help them feel. Oh my gosh, what you help them feel. That you need to. That to get the book out, you need to get get out that same experience, that same feeling, and it may be, I'm thinking.
Can I tell you, I just had an epiphany, and so you wrote it and you said it, and it's right in the middle of the board. I need to be a brand because I can't just be a person. I have to be a brand.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I have to.
That's what I heard.
Exactly that.
Yeah.
That's exactly the shape I was going to draw on the table. I need to be
Well, you may not need to be square.
but not square.
You may need to be in a box.
Need be square. I mean, ain't gonna happen. But yeah. Okay. So yeah.
So I think people, what I'm sensing is that people, for your book to be effectively accepted, they need to be getting more than a book.
Right.
It needs to be, it's not just this physical book. It's, oh my God, I've got Carl. So that may entail something audio where they hear you. It may entail something video so they see you talking about it in the gentle way that you communicate, or in the way that they need to see and feel you when they see you. So it's going to be, to me, there's going to be a mixture of how you get your messaging out, and the book is just sort of almost an incidental.
My wheels are turning so fast. I can't even be sitting here. I dream most of my after this is over. I'll go home and I will dream whatever is important. Whatever we talked about, I will dream it. And when I'm dreaming it, I will pull out. And she might have your hair. I mean, sometimes I have the dreams like mix things up a whole lot. But when the dream ends, when I wake up and I get to clarity, I realize that's how I know everything means something. Everything that you do means something. When you sent me the email, I said, I'm coming. I don't know what I'm doing. I might make a fool out of myself, but if I do, it'll mean something. When I sat down with you, but for the first time in my world, I realized that my business needs to be a brand and not Carl, because that's what's wearing me out. Is I'm trying to be more than the brand, and the brand would encompass a book, a CD, maybe a video, and so then I don't have to be physically there. I would be.
Keep going. I just wanted to.
I could still deliver my message without leaving my brick and mortar.
And I think, and ask yourself, so I'll put my career coaching on hat here for a minute, is you want to ask yourself, what do I want to spend most of my time doing? What is the part of it that you love the most?
Talking to people.
See, and if it's talking to people, then you don't want to be sitting in an office somewhere planning all that. So I think that's an important piece, is decide what's your favorite part and what can you give away to somebody else. What can you pay somebody else to do? Because then you get to bring all the best of who you are out there the most time.
So actually,
I feel excited.
What I was hearing was, when you were saying it could be a CD, it could be a whatever you just said, a DVD. Don't narrow down to the medium. What I wrote video on purpose, because it could be virtual, whatever video, and I narrowed, and I just said audio for a reason. So not to narrow you down to the medium. So it's almost like all of this, if this is the book, and this is the molding part of it now, to get the book out, you need to get out to video, you need to get out to audio, you need to get out to be live and in person, in speaking to groups. I would find out what groups do the people who come to you now, what groups do your clients belong to? And since they know you, maybe give them a book, because our friend Mia likes to say that book is almost is a business card. Maybe give the book out to your existing clients and suggest, refer me to an organization that you belong to that you think they'd like to hear me talk about what you talk about. Do
a book club where people could put those ideas into practice and talk with each other about how that's going.
I could even do it like on Facebook, where it could be interactive. See,
I heard
But maybe also a live one because it
No, a
fits
live
in
one,
with
but
that
absolutely, but
community piece.
right.
Exactly.
Would you write that down?
Absolutely.
Yeah. There you go. Book club, live and virtual.
That's great. Yeah, that is. Oh, that's good. See, look.
So that's another way of
See, I'm helped.
getting it out. I'm trying to be. I'm being a little conscious of time too, because I kind of. We already sort of set this up in the beginning to say we didn't set it up, but to
Don't
say
talk so
that.
much.
Yeah. Well, no, that it's about a half hour we'll spend. It's a little more than that, depending on how it's going. I think it's already, but that's okay.
Okay. all
But
right.
that we weren't going to solve the problems of the world, but if we could get a couple of things out, a couple of ideas that make you say, I hadn't thought of that, or I'm going to work on that.
Okay, so
then,
now that I'm learning, if any of your viewers really want to get my book, it should be ready very soon, and you can get it at www.carlpowell.com. How about that?
Our work here is done.
Well, I didn't know if you had any other suggestions or any other things came to your mind as we were talking.
No, I mean, the big thing is really what I said, which is think about what you want to spend most of your time doing and the stuff that really makes you,
Can't see.
joyful and, and happy. I
So
mean,
you're gonna come work out with me?
I'm
talk to
definitely
you?
going to come give it a try. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then my mission is accomplished.
We have a question or a statement or something. Yes, studio audience, say who you are too. I think, well, it's not live for here, but it's for the camera.
Hi, Tassie Russo, and I have a question, and it really relates to something that I heard early on, but I haven't heard much more about it, but was intriguing to me. You said that the title of your book was 21 Steps to Magnificent Living. And then when you had this incredible aha moment with regard to creating a brand, all I can think about is, tell me more about magnificent living. And so I would love to have you tell me just a little bit more about that. And I would very much like for you to think about how you can incorporate it into your brand and really make that come forward in your brand, because that, to me, as I've listened to you, is what and who you are.
Oh, now I'm blushing on television. Magnificent living in itself is, I would say, the biggest part of magnificent living is taking responsibility for the things that happen in your life. Because I find a lot of times with us, we want to, the glass of water spilled, but it wasn't that my elbow knocked it over that actually made the water spill. So when you start taking responsibility for all of the things that happen around you, then you realize what your part is. And then as you start to realize what your part is, one of the things, learning what is your religion. And I tell people, I'm not talking about faith, I'm talking about what is your life, how do you live your life? Do you want to love people more? Do you want to treat people the way you want to be treated? Because some people don't, and it's surprising to me, but they don't. They just I don't even see another way. So magnificent living for me is acknowledging every single person that comes into your life and knowing that was for a reason. And if I take my opportunity to learn, that it's only going to make my life more magnificent. Magnificent living is, I can't truly be here with you without making your life more magnificent, but you're going to do the same thing for me. But it's about sharing those gifts. And that's why I loved when I met Glenn and he told me what he was doing, because that was a real turn on for me. I was like, you mean there's other people who actually want to make the world a better place? Because there are people who don't. They want to be richer, they want to have a bigger house, they want to have a bigger car. They'll have a heart attack tomorrow, they don't care, they won't eat. They don't want to change, and they don't care. And they get what they get. But I know there's a group of people out there who do want to have a better life, who do want to make the world a better place, who do want to smile at each other when you walk down the street. I lived on the island of Maui, and I say, we all want to live in the state of aloha. We just do. We just do. We just do. I tell you, there's nothing like it. It smells wonderful, and and that's why people say aloha, because people do it when they're a guest or whether they live there. Because once you get there and you you have no other choice. And I know there are people who want to feel like that all the time, who want to live in that. Those are the those.
And that's the feeling then to create both virtually, which will be interesting, but that could be probably affected by the colors and the look and the, how you conduct yourself virtually, but also physically, to create that environment that people go, and they do that with your book while they're experiencing it.
Totally.
Cool.
Thank you so much for that question. That was such
Oh, you're welcome. You actually did transport us. You came across wonderfully well, not only in person, but I bet on camera. So he can absolutely do it virtually.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh, yeah.
Stories, paint the picture.
Y'all making me all turn red.
Oh yeah, we can see.
Stop that.
Cool.
Well, I want to thank you both for having me, because this has been a really great experience, and I look forward to working with you both personally, and I know that you're going to be a part of the way that I help change the world, so I appreciate
Thank you
that.
so much.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Aha, see, just the way you say that. Yes. And so, whether, where am I? Oh, yes, okay. And so, yes, and I'm an experienced TV person. I don't know which camera to look at. And so, this Carl will take with him. Some of it has been, I was sort of grouping thoughts together. My director is pointing as to what I was hearing and whether it means the same thing to you. I don't know, but that you can take the notes. So this would be where I would suggest to you and to anybody else, just over time, and getting your thoughts out won't happen instantly. I mean, yeah, in a coaching session, a lot of it gets out sticky note by sticky note, and because you've been writing, you take notes differently. So, how many colors did you use? Just the, you only used the one purple.
Because we're on TV, I thought I usually have them spread all over the table. I thought I would lose points for missing it.
That would have been really a little.
So she takes notes differently. But that shows that either way, however you can get thoughts out, do it. Then they're out, and then you can look them over and sort them out.
Yeah, but the people are going to definitely need you two to be there, because I couldn't have done that myself. So I think that you two have played an essential part of that. So
say that again. You can say that.
I think you
yes. No.
No, I really do. I really, that was great.
Good.
Thank you.
Cool.
It was really fun. And I'm definitely going to follow up.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Thanks for playing with us.
Well, thank you.
All right, stay put, because we are going to take a break and sort of refresh and bring our second guest up if he still wants to even, if he still dares.
Toe in the water now.
And so we'll be back in a few minutes.
Hey Smart Shopper, my name is Glenn Garnes and I'm here to save you money. I've created a fast, simple, and convenient way for you to save money every time you shop with small locally owned businesses that participate in our Consumer Savings Program. The program is called the Consumers Win Savings Club, and you can become a member for free. Right now, we're building the largest worldwide network of consumers anywhere, and what that means is together we'll all save money because of the collective buying power of our combined membership. It doesn't matter what you're buying, whether it's stuff for your home, food, or services you need. We have it all here through the Consumers Win Savings Club. Joining the club will have you keeping more of your hard-earned income. It's time to stop spending more than you should. Remember, it's not how much you make, it's how much you keep, and the Consumers Win Savings Club was created to help you keep more. With the Consumers Win Savings Club, you won't have to worry about carrying paper coupons or redemption certificates. Access our mobile coupon system anytime you like from your smartphone or your computer, and display your Consumers Win Savings Club card for instant savings when you visit merchants in person. Your membership includes access to our mobile and web-based coupon system, putting savings just a few clicks away at all times. We'll even teach you special tips to save on things you buy every single day. Okay, so here's what you need to do to get started. First, simply fill in your name and email address on the right to be added to the Consumers Win Savings Club community. You'll receive further instructions on how you can begin saving immediately. Next, if you'd like to earn special rewards by telling your friends about us, follow the instructions on the thank you page to invite the people you know to join the club. Remember, Join now and invite your friends to do the same. With your help in spreading the word to your friends, we'll all save more every time we shop. Join us today, and remember, Consumers Win is where you'll master the art of shopping smart.
When we take a break. We're still partying in here. So we now have a new volunteer. And I mean, this poor Mark, he is like truly volunteering because this was within a few minutes of the program. So this is almost a pluck them from the audience and and let's see what comes up. So we're now back. If you're just joining us, you missed a whole lot. But if you're just joining us, I'm Sylvia Henderson, your Clarity Queen for implementation, and I'm sort of co-hosting this Idea Lab with Susan Combe, who is? We're punchy now.
My business is called The Handmade Life. I do career testing and coaching, help people identify what comes naturally to them so they can spend most of their time doing the things that they really love.
And we are working, we're working with people to sort of, it's an, I call it the ideation process, where we're getting ideas, we're getting details out of our volunteers' heads and sort of posting them up, my favorite tool, on Post-it notes on the wall. Oh, one day we're gonna get whole walls painted in here shortly. I can't wait to have my Post-it notes everywhere. And you can write colored pens all over the place if you use the right markers. So we'll be really able to integrate that. Anyhow, I digress. So we're getting people's ideas, the details of what they're thinking or what the issue that they're working on, out of their heads, down on something in this regard on paper, to see if we can see something, get some clarity, get some structure to the thoughts that are in their heads. So that's what we're doing now with our new volunteer, Mark. So Mark Steckers, tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Sure, I'm a training and development specialist. I've been doing that type of work for about 8 to 10 years for corporations. And recently I decided to go off and on my own become an independent training professional. My goals are to actually twofold: to create a dynamic, visible platform for connecting quality trainers and subject matter experts to clients to solve their various training and performance issues. And second, I want to design, develop, and facilitate compliance, business skills, and technical training for small to mid-sized businesses, government clients, and nonprofit clients.
Okay, say that second part again.
Technical training for small to mid-sized businesses, government clients,
Okay.
nonprofits, through creative instructional methods and innovative methodologies.
So that's what, these are the two, which I almost heard. The second part almost seemed to be a part of the first part, but I'm going to say you're sort of working towards creating a dynamic. I tried to condense all that into 4 words.
that was pretty decent.
Since you're training, you're creating the platform for other people to learn. So I figured. So what in the world does that mean?
Well, basically,
a dynamic platform for. Be a little simpler with that.
Sure. Basically, I would design, develop, and facilitate the training I create. And then step 2 would be, well, if I can't do it, I want to farm that out.
Okay. I
can be the connector and create a dynamic platform for those individuals to meet virtually and maybe in person. I guess what my question is how do I differentiate myself as a new business? What's the best way to connect to quality individuals in an organized manner?
So, you want to differentiate yourself.
Right. What sets me
And
apart?
I don't know, I'm sure I did not spell that at all.
Because there's a lot of training professionals out there.
Yeah.
So.
And differentiate yourself and
And also, what's the best way to connect with clients authentically?
Oh, with clients, not with other trainers.
Well, for the part 2, where I'm building the platform, then it would be connecting with trainers and subject matter experts.
Okay, so hang on. Goals are how you differentiate yourself.
How I differentiate myself.
Okay.
And the best way to connect with individuals from either group, I would say, in an organized manner.
Okay. I don't know where this is going yet, so I'll just put it up there. These are your two questions. Okay. And what did I do that? Okay, I was trying to define what the heck dynamic platform for training meant. So, training, design, development, and delivery. I can use those words because I come from the corporate training environment. So
And
some
I
of that.
used to do that too,
Yeah, that's true.
oddly enough.
So some of the terminology, yeah, is familiar to me. May not be familiar to viewers. So I need to make sure we explain things if we do. If we say something that's not familiar. Go ahead.
It seems to me like the second question is about once I figure out exactly what it is that I'm offering, how do I find people? So it's I want to suggest that maybe we could focus on that first question.
Yeah, no, because
Like
we're not.
who am I and what am I offering people that makes me the person that they want to call?
Exactly.
Because it seems like you got to start there.
Yep. Because then you'll communicate that in the second piece. Yeah.
Right. And again, being new, that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to
Yep.
flesh it out more effectively.
So I'm going to ask you, why do you think you're special? And that's not to be funny, but so what makes you special?
Well, I think I have a broad background. In some ways, I'm kind of like a Renaissance man, I guess so to speak. I have a lot of interest in a lot of different areas. So I used to do production, video production, marketing, done a lot of writing. And I found that was interesting and engaging to a point, but then I got involved with training because I wanted to make more of an impact, because I felt like education had more meaning. And I guess that's kind of what I'm about, is like helping others, touching other people through creativity and technology. I want to help others. I want to design a life instead of just making a living, and that's part of what my focus was of getting involved as an independent training professional.
So you feel comfortable with the video piece and the whole, we were talking a little bit, the other day about the e-learning piece, so the sort of multimodal ways of conveying things.
Right, exactly.
So that is a unique thing in the sense of, if you're interested in the interpersonal stuff, that's not something everybody can do.
Right. Well, I like connecting with people like your last guest did, Carl, but I also like working with technology. So I think my strength is that I have a variety of interest and skill set. So.
And I was like right away. I need to get it on there. So you've got a broad background. I needed to define that more. Excuse the spelling. I have no idea how to spell Renaissance man on the fly. So that's what we get. A Renaissance man. Okay, that's kind of what you want to do. You want to design a life. So I don't know what to do with that yet. I'm trying to describe you here. You're interpersonal with technology. You're comfortable with tech. Corporate, you said corporate background.
Right, corporate, some government contract training, correct. Mostly, actually.
Go ahead.
Who are your favorite clients to work with, though?
I'd say clients that come from like a nonprofit or association type background that have a meaningful mission. When I worked at a government contract company, I guess that really hit me in the fact that if what I do is tied to a mission that I can believe in myself and I get passionate, I really want to, not that I don't already put an extra amount of effort, but I really want to go to the optimum level to provide that. I'll do whatever it takes to make an impact.
So partially, one thing might be that you're taking the tools that you gleaned from working in the corporate world and the government, and are bringing them to mission-driven organizations, because that
Right,
is
yeah.
more inspiring to you.
Definitely, yeah.
So when you were reading through that like long litany of who you want to reach, you said businesses, government, which, okay, if I'm like, you want to deal with the interpersonal and with mission driven, and government just wasn't hitting me, regardless of anybody's politics, as far as that kind of a client. You know, in fact, when I was reading your sheet slightly earlier, and I saw government, and I thought, good luck with that, because
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like that would be the environment that you would be
Yeah, I guess I've,
comfortable in.
well, I guess yeah, I see your point. I guess that some of the government agencies that I know, some of them, I think they have, well, a lot of them have good missions, but I guess I can support some of their missions that I've had experience with, or I'd like to be involved with.
Okay.
So but I think it is more in line with nonprofits associations. But yeah, but there'd be some government there. So.
Now your challenge, and where we would need to figure out, so how do nonprofits, while that is just a tax structure, it also though ends up being for a lot of nonprofits a state of mind, so that
Exactly. Yeah.
you know, so where is the income coming from, you know, with nonprofits? Now there's plenty of big ones,
Right.
and that might be the nice combination going for a big one. I mean, you've got, I don't want to, well, like an American Red Cross, like a,
Right.
you know, that are huge, like an AARP. They're nonprofits, but you know, they're hugely profitable.
That's a big
Profit-oriental.
geographical plus of being in the Washington,
Yeah.
D.C. area, so
Yeah.
you've got big nonprofits that you can work with.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I try to break it down between nonprofits, small and mid-sized businesses, and government, because then that kind of hopefully covers that monetary gap. So.
Yeah. I sort of went off track with that. Best way to connect, oh, differentiate self. That's what we were going to focus on, how you differentiate yourself. Some of the terms, because I hear them a lot, when you say you've got a broad background, it's like, okay, yeah, so does everybody. You know, I mean, so I'm going to be a little bit kind of direct, but some of that is hitting me like, okay, that's nice. And how do you, because this is probably better, more of a strength that you would bring out. Oh, goody, different colors.
Well, I could
Now
jump
you're
in if
emerging.
you want.
Yeah, go ahead, because I'm
okay,
thinking
so,
through.
So all right, so I'll put my career coach hat on. So, because it's funny, for whatever reason, you know, certainly a lot of the clients I work with are looking to work for other people, but some of them, it ends up being, how do you design a business that's really going to be a good fit for you? So the way that our approach to career design is, there's 4 questions you have to answer. There's the who am I question. What's my personality type? What are my natural gifts and talents? How do I like to solve problems? How do I like to, you know, am I dealing with problems in the physical world? Am I dealing with interpersonal kinds of things? That sort of thing. There's the values piece of it. What is it that motivates me to work? You know, when I was doing corporate training, I knew I should care that, like, the insurance company we were doing team building for would be more successful, but really nothing in me could care. I was happy if I helped somebody get on with their manager better, but not, you know, okay, great. No, more, anyway. So the values piece of it. Then there's the workplace environment, and that's what I hear in that wanting to build a life, you know, not just a job kind of thing of, you know, really, what does that mean every day? What kind of environment am I in? You know, for somebody with my personality type, I never met anybody who didn't care about their workplace environment. You think the markers are funny? You should see my house. You know, so what kind of physical place am I in? What's the culture of the organization like? All that kind of stuff. And then the nitty-gritty piece, which is, what's the subject matter? Is it something I find compelling enough?
Right.
And what are you doing all day long, which is functions. And that's one of the things that people leave out the most. So, you know, if you're talking about training broad brushstrokes, Is it the design piece of it? Is it figuring out the puzzle of what's the best way to present this? Is it the physical, I can make a video, or I can create an e-course or something like that? Is it that whole design piece? Or is it, I want to be in the room watching people's faces light up? You know, maybe not. Maybe it's the behind the scenes. So
I honestly, this goes back to the Renaissance or Renaissance. I like a little bit of both because the first piece is creative problem solving. The second piece is hands-on, using technology, again, using creativity. At least that's how I view it. And then that personal touch, which is why I add, I do the facilitation as well. So, I like having hands in a lot of different pots.
right.
And I think it seems like good business owners also have that kind of mentality. They can wear a bunch of hats. So
They can wear a bunch of hats, and they may have to, but they also want to say,
Yeah.
but which is my favorite hat that I put on a Saturday morning? Because
Okay.
that's the hat you're going to be wearing most of the time, ideally.
then I would say working with ideas and people. Those are the two key things.
Okay.
Work with ideas, and then work with people, although that would be, seems like that's kind of one. You need the people to get the ideas.
Well, not necessarily, because you could
but
be looking at information and that kind of
Yeah.
ideas as opposed to interaction.
But people is big
Right.
for you. Yeah. This was, I think, what you said you wanted, and I don't know where to go with that yet. You like creative problem solving. You like the personal touch. And I don't know where I'm going with that yet either, so we'll just work with people. Okay. Work with ideas. That's what you want to do. You like doing.
Right.
Uh,
Ideas.
So, your original question, how do you differentiate yourself? Trying to think of what's coming to my mind for, and if studio audience has some thoughts too, I welcome them too, but in terms of where to go or what another question you want to hear, you want him to answer, how do you differentiate yourself? Obviously, it's going to be in your messaging and how you communicate. What you want to work with and how you work.
I think we have a question.
Is there a way? I can't see anything. Okay. Our business coach is here in the audience. Yes. Say who you are again, because people may not have.
Tassie Russo, one more time. Actually, one question that I would ask you is to frame what you're looking to do from the perspective of what would people first want from you, and then once you're able to give that definition and understand what they want from you, what is it that you absolutely know that they need? And then that's another component of how you can make an offering and what would differentiate you. So I would ask, that would be my question to you, what do you think your intended market or client base would first want, and then after you give them what they want, what would you want them to need that you would give them?
Yeah, not to fall asleep during compliance training is one thing.
I understand that.
So something engaging. Because I would love, just to, if I may, I want people to go into the training that I give in the one part when I'm delivering it and say, wow, that was really engaging. I really connect with a lot of people. I feel excited about ideas. Not so much about what they think about me, but
Right.
about the experience and how it enhanced their life. They got a real ROI, return on investment. So.
What's the topic? What kind of, what's the topic? What do you want to train?
I would say mostly soft skills, business skills type training, so presentation skills, emotional intelligence, leadership skills. Those are some areas that I'd like to develop. I have done some work in that those areas, but I want to continue to develop as a subject matter expert so I can eventually do group trainings, but also one-on-one. I'd love to do some one-on-one,
Okay.
almost coaching type trainings, but yeah.
Okay.
It's interesting. I think there's two ways to come at the question. Like, one is from that business perspective, like, what do you see as being the need that people have? And the question I want to ask is, so what kinds of problems do you want to be solving? What are the things that you find particularly interesting? And sometimes that could be about identifying the gap between where you are right now. Like right now, you might be able to say, I can make boring material interesting.
Right.
And that's a gift. Like if you
Yeah.
can put people through some kind of intense technical training, but do it in a way that they're not falling asleep, that really is something special.
Okay.
I
I think you can do that through creative methods, creative ways. I believe I'm good about taking a bunch of old information and making it something new, creating something new out of it that engages people and interests them. So that's a talent I believe I have. So I like how the mind works, how the brain works. I love how people think. So that's a big part of what I like as a trainer.
So I wonder if there's a way to actually create the messaging so that it's interesting, so that it brings people in. In other words, it's different from your one sheet, which you have, but it's different from the trainer's one sheet. It's different from a talking head that's saying how great how you can solve the problems that you can solve for people. I think it's something that would make somebody go, oh, that's different.
Right.
Or and really feel you. And I don't know, that might be more of a visual message or a video. I'm not trying to define the medium exactly, but
Well, storytelling or choose your own adventure,
Yes.
those are areas of interest. So I thought about trying to explore those as training methods. Tell a story, have them get involved in the story.
and the story related to how you have helped somebody in a different way, how they felt when they were done, what they got from you, from the experience, because I hear experience in there also, in terms of a messaging to show that you're different. Story. I know. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I didn't know if you had a thought. I've got another studio audience member who's like jumping. So say who you are and.
I'm Renee Canali, and my business is Cultivating Change. The question that keeps tugging at me is, what was missing from the jobs that you had before? What was it that you kept saying, if we only, because I think that's what you're going to bring to the table, because you realized that it was something that was missing and you saw the opportunity that was not being leveraged.
Yeah, I think the main reason I wanted to do this was to have a individualized or tailored experience where I could go out and do it my own way. I mean, still serve what the clients need, but do it in my own creative, technologically innovative way. So almost like a form of expression. I'd say that training to me, or coaching, whatever you want to call it, is a form of expression, like writing, doing video work, are all forms of expression. So I think if you can tailor it with your own special method or way, then I think it's I think that's part of what I get out of this opportunity currently. So
Somebody's note landed over there.
Follow-up question.
Follow-up question. Is that what was missing in the workplace, is the ability for the people being trained to have that experience?
yeah, I think in the corporate environment, I had the opportunity to do that to a point, but was kind of in a box. And I think there's still opportunities to do that. I think there are opportunities to kind of grow as an individual professional versus being part of a corporation as a full-time employee. So,
just to clarify my question, and maybe you've answered it and I'm not getting it. Okay, so what did you see in the workplace with other people going through the training? Are they missing the opportunity to be creative in the corporate environment? And can you be the one, or are you going to be the one that brings that creativity into the corporate culture for those people?
Yes, I believe that I could be the person to do that. I just need to create the opportunities to do that. So.
And so we're back to still the messaging. I just lost it now on the messaging of. So how do you differentiate yourself, or is that still whoop?
I have a question.
Oh, well now how are you
can't
gonna
really hear you.
now how is the technician gonna answer the question?
Because I have my own microphone, that's how. Based on what you used to do in the corporate environment, what is it that you would do differently with your own special flavor to it that would make it better, or at least different than the way it was done when you were working as an employee for organizations or for governmental entities?
Well, I think it would free me up to try some of these techniques like the storytelling, some of the gamification, game-based training. See, it would be very freeing. I think that's the reason a lot of people decide to go independent, is because it gives them to put
Sure.
their own flavor onto their own business. So I would say that would be the main reason, a lot of freedom to try new things and explore.
So
wanna
you're
be an
basically
explorer.
in a position to help employees turn work into play.
Right. Exactly.
Actually, yeah, you just said something in terms of gamification in terms of a technique.
Yeah, so someone in the studio audience, I mentioned that there's I don't want to plug, but I'm taking a course now on gamification through a university online. I'm about to finish up the course, and it's about using game elements to make training or businesses more engaging. So
Yeah.
that's I love
great.
to try some of that out and
Yeah.
some of this. So.
To me, that truly differentiates from the stand.
I think that differentiates you really well.
Okay.
Mia Reed, I think that the gamification part will really differentiate you because it's bringing more into the workplace. And we was trying to get out of you, I think, what really was different. And that piece right there will really set you apart from what everybody else is doing, because you're bringing more fun into it. You're making it more interactive for people to get involved, opposed to sitting there listening to a boring blah, blah, blah all the day,
Right.
So that piece will really set you apart.
Thank you. Yeah, and I used to do security training and briefings, and that's can be potentially one of the driest subject matters you can ever talk about. So use sense of humor, some creativity, some interactive, cool exercises, and it kind of spice things up. But again, in that box, so it'd be great to find ways to kind of explore
Excuse me.
new exciting ways to do it.
Just one other thing, Tassie Russo, you said something to answer one of the first questions that Susan had mentioned, who am I? You said, I want to be an explorer. And I just wanted to make sure that you remembered that and brought that to life, because I think that's the beginning where you will ultimately end up with gamification and exploration of tools to teach people. So I really loved that statement.
Thank you.
And I would just add to that the whole idea about it being more personal, like storytelling. That you're personally engaging with somebody who it is. Like, it's interesting to hear you talk about training and coaching. And if we are the same personality type, like we were talking about, that making it more personal and individual, and being able to connect with people one-on-one as
Exactly.
well as in a big group.
Yeah.
So.
If I can find ways to more effectively do that, that would be fantastic. So yeah, so that's the area of growth for me. So.
And it sounds like, and I think what's coming up for me is that with you, this can be a reality both interpersonally, both the one on, the in-person experience and technologically, because you have because you're familiar with technology. I might want to do something that's more technically, game-like, but I'd have to really struggle at making that work, whereas that seems like it's comfortable for you. So that, I think, to explore that and to show, my gosh, to conquer that, to create something that is interpersonal, for interpersonal skills, because that's what you said you wanted to tackle more, and show that happening. Okay, she just had an aha, and I got a sort of a time signal too. So, so let's capture your aha.
May I, after her, may I add one last thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. So, just a thought that jumped into my head, because that comfort with technology and games and interpersonal skills. You hear so many adults now complain about the fact that teenagers don't know how to talk to each other. They've lost the art of conversation entirely. And how fun would it be if you could create some interactive kind of games using the technology they're addicted to help them stretch to learn some of the stuff that they're not getting enough practice in?
That's great. That's a great idea.
That would be a gazillion-dollar empire right there.
Thank you.
Says the mom of a teener.
Is $1 a good start?
Yeah. What was coming up for you?
I just want to say one of the reasons why I wanted to do presentation skills as a course is because I struggled with that for a long time as an INFP. So I purposely took a position so that I would be forced to be in front of a group of 5 to 20 people for 3 hours, 1 to 2 times a week. And it started with me being behind the table, and eventually I moved in front of the table, out in front, and actually interacted with the people. So I believe it is a strength, because I know we're supposed to play to our strengths, but it was just hidden. So I'm hoping I can bring some of that natural talent out in other people, maybe through training, maybe through coaching, but that's something that gives me real enjoyment.
Cool.
So.
Did anything, I mean, it's still kind of a little more scattered than the last one. Had you already identified taking this approach and showing how that differentiates you before we started?
Not to that degree, especially now with the gamification. So that's definitely a help. I think I need to explore it more, maybe brainstorm. But no, it's definitely gives me some new ideas and directions to go. So
Susan asked, I captured the questions that she asked for you to think about. So you take those questions with you. And a couple that the studio audience asked, I captured them. I'm not sure where. I'll have to circle them offline. But so to make sure that you capture that. You capture what came out from here, question-wise, and do some more thinking yourself. Because, like I said, we're not solving your entire business in 1/2 hour or 45-minute session. But if something on here made you go, I need to check that out a little bit further, that's the point.
Okay.
That's the point of the exercise.
It did.
Is to cool. You're not just saying that to make me feel good.
No.
Okay.
I mean.
He might, though, if he's an INFP.
Oh, okay. That's my problem when I'm answering people's questions. Oh my goodness. Okay, Mark, any last thing you wanted to kind of say or?
No, and this is genuine. I really did get a lot out of this session, and I appreciate both of your insights and having the chance to be on your show.
Cool. Thank you for playing with us.
No problem.
All right, woohoo! And so, you've just seen 2 examples. If you were with us the whole time, you've just seen 2 examples of just that first couple of stages of, the impact process of getting your thoughts out of your head, and typically it does take somebody else. And that's something that I stress a lot too in my coaching and in my programs. You might think you can get it all out yourself, but you're too close to your own stuff. And stuff is not a technical term, I know, but you're too close to your own thinking, and it does help to have a trusted partner, somebody who won't put down your ideas, somebody who who won't roll their eyes and say, oh gosh, another one, you know. If you're that creative type who comes up with ideas and has a little bit of trouble implementing them, but you come up with a lot of them, it does take somebody else. I do this for other people. I have my own person, actually my own people, with whom I can bounce the ideas off of, who pulls things out of me because they think differently or they hear me say something that I don't hear, and they then ask further. So find a trusted partner, whether it's a coach, hello, no, or hello, or whether it's somebody else that you can talk to and share honestly with, and who will give you honest feedback and ask you the questions that make you probe even further. So hopefully you got a chance to hear, see some of that actually in action. Like I said, we didn't know what was going to come out of our mouths or the mouths of anybody else here. So unscripted, live, uncensored, whatever. Thanks for joining us on Idea Lab. Do you want to have any last words you want to say?
I hope you've got little pieces of paper scattered wherever it is that you are with ideas and things you want to think about more.
And Susan, how do people reach you if they want to know more about?
Thank you, Sylvia.
Hey.
My website is Handmade Life Coaching.
Oh, say that slower.
www.handmadelifecoaching.com. And yeah, that'll give you a good idea.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you for playing with me too and being my
fun.
compliment.
It's fun.
And you can learn more about me, Sylvia Henderson, at ideasuccessnetwork.com. So until next Idea Lab, you guys enjoy your evening, enjoy your day, depending on where you're watching this and when you're watching it, and we'll see you next time.